You feel almost like you can't breathe, like your emotions are right at the top of your throat and you might explode at any moment or just want to run away. You're feeling stressed. You're feeling overwhelmed with everything that's going on around you or everything that's coming at you, and you don't know what to do. If this is something that you experience often, then it's a good chance that you are regularly being overstimulated. Now, what overstimulated is, we're going to talk more in just a second, but knowing that being overstimulated is something that happens more often with those among us who are more highly sensitive people. And I have another talk all about what it means to be a highly sensitive person. This is a new concept for you, but just knowing that as a highly sensitive person, your senses, all of your senses, all 5 of them, are more sensitive. And so you are going to experience stimulation, sounds, sights, tastes, smells, touches more intensely than someone who is less highly sensitive. And so really looking at what overstimulation is and what you can do about it if you are someone who often feels like when there's a lot going on, like you just want to hole up and hide under a pile of coats or run away as quickly as possible, or maybe even just yell, get that intensity out as quickly as possible. We're going to talk about all this in just a second, but first, if you're new here, welcome to our incredible little corner on the internet. Take a second, introduce yourself in the comment section below. If you're back again, always good to have you. Either way, my name is Kristina, and I am a registered clinical therapist, a researcher, a coach, and a speaker, and the creator of my membership community, the Shift Society, that you can get more information about in the description below. I help heart-centered humans learn how to think better and feel better and show up better and live better every single day. Being overstimulated is when there is a lot of sensory input or even just too much sensory input for your brain to manage all at once. And especially if you are a more highly sensitive person, then all of these things coming in at the same time are going to feel like more and is going to be overstimulating more easily. So what does it feel like when we're being overstimulated? It can feel like a bunch of different things, but if you're in a situation where there seems to be a lot going on at the same time and you start to get headachy or dizzy or lightheaded, or maybe you can't even see straight and you kind of get that feeling like there's just so much and you're kind of zoning out, and maybe you're getting some just sort of like distortion in your sight. It can also look like feeling ill or faint or nauseous. It can look like you feeling more irritable and agitated, where you can just feel your whole body tensing up. Maybe you can just even like feel yourself without even realizing it, your hands going into fists and your shoulders being tense and your jaw feeling clenched and just feeling like your whole body is stressed. It can also just feel like you are stressed, and you might even say, I'm just really stressed out right now. It can look like you are feeling so overwhelmed that you just want to explode. You want to yell. You want to run away. You might even find yourself biting people's heads off or being more short and irritable with the people who are around you, even though they might not even be really doing anything that's actually really annoying. It can feel like you're restless or kind of panicky, like you just feel this sense of unease and this little kind of underlying feeling of panic. You can feel like you're trapped and you just want to run away. You have this urge to flee and get out of the situation as quickly as possible, even though it's not an actually dangerous or threatening situation. You can feel like you have difficulty focusing and maybe like your brain is just about to shut down completely. Let me know in the comment section below if these are experiences that you have felt regularly when there is a lot going on and you don't really understand why. And you think, like, what's wrong with me? Why am I getting so overwhelmed in these maybe more common situations? Why is this so hard for me to handle? Understanding that overstimulation happens in large part because of the brain, and specifically in brains that are more highly sensitive. One of our brain's main jobs is to collect sensory information, to take in what's going on around us, to be able to suss out how to engage with the environment. If someone's talking to us, we have to be able to take in that they're talking to us so that we can reply to them or engage in the conversation. If there is something in our field of vision that could cause some kind of threat or that we need to avoid or that we need to deal with, then our brain has to be aware of that. If there are sounds that are happening, like the dinging of the oven or the phone ringing, then we have to be able to take in that those sounds are happening. Or I guess how many phones are ringing these days? More like the phone is buzzing. But we need to be able to take that in. We need to be able to have our senses working for us so that we know how to engage with our environment. But when too much is happening at the same time, the brain stops being able to really kind of process everything that's happening. And then it goes into this fight or flight mode. It goes into this panic mode. Like, too much is happening. I can't suss out what needs my attention, what's important, what needs to be dealt with. And so it just goes into this overload. And then it can cause those reactions and those symptoms that I mentioned before. So when you are feeling overstimulated, recognize what is happening. If you are in a circumstance where there is a lot going on at the same time, being able to recognize that and be able to take a step back and say to yourself, oh, I'm feeling overstimulated right now. This one for me took me a while to really be able to identify that this was what was happening when I'd have those feelings of, maybe just wanting to say, like, everyone be quiet and leave me alone. Or just this feeling of like, I need to get out of here. This is too much for me. Or, oh my gosh, I'm so stressed out and I can't even think or see straight. Really starting to realize that, oh, I'm being overstimulated, and then learning how to deal with it, how to catch it before it got to be too much, and being able to take care of what I needed in that moment in order to stop feeling so overstimulated. This tends to happen for me a lot when my kids and my parents are at my house. When there is a lot going on and people are needing things from me, and all kinds of people are needing all kinds of things from me. So my kids are asking me to watch them do something, or to find something for them, or to come see something in their room at the same time that I'm trying to cook and get things ready for dinner because everyone's here and waiting for dinner to be on the table. And my mom is in the kitchen and trying to help out, and all good intentions. She's trying to help me out with things. She's asking, where do I find this? Or what do you need me to do here? How do you want this? And there's just all these things going on at the same time. There's too much demand on my senses, on my attention. My kids want this. My mom needs this. I'm trying to focus on this. And I just feel that feeling of like, I just want to either yell, I want everyone to just go away, or I want to run away. This can happen at work if you're someone who works in an office where when you're in the middle of doing some kind of task and you're focused on that, and then someone comes in and interrupts you and asks you a question, and you feel almost like this feeling like you want to yell, or like you just feel frustrated, or you feel like something just got kind of jolted in your brain and you're like, so irritated, even though them asking a question is not that big of a deal, but you get this big reaction because there's too many things coming towards your senses at the same time. And then put on top of that, you work in an office with fluorescent bright lights, and that's going to be overstimulating as well for someone who is more highly sensitive. And you put all those things together and you're kind of riding or existing on this higher intense vibration, not the good kind of high vibration, but the overstimulated, overwhelmed, tense, high vibration. This can happen too in a really great situation. let's say you're out for dinner with friends and there's great music playing and there's a bunch of people around having a good time, having lively conversations, people are laughing. But then the person next to you wants to have a deeper, meaningful conversation that's requiring a lot of your attention. And you notice yourself feeling irritated or frustrated or like you just want to get out of there. But why? You're in a great situation, you're with people that you like, someone wants to engage you in a meaningful conversation, but you feel angry or irritated or frustrated. It's because you're being overstimulated. There's too much stimulation coming at you, requiring your attention at the same time. So what do you do about it? First step is to really start to recognize when you are being overstimulated and then being able to take care of yourself in that situation by communicating where you're at, where your limits are, where your boundaries are. So as an example, in that situation when my parents are here and my kids are needing things from me and I'm trying to focus on cooking, I've gotten a lot better at being able to take a step back and recognize when I'm starting to feel overstimulated, when there's too much going on at the same time, and then communicating that in a clean, clear, and classy way. So taking a step back and being able to say something like, hey everyone, I'm trying to focus on getting dinner ready and getting it on the table for you all. And I'm finding it a lot to have people wanting my attention or asking things from me. So kids, if you could go into another room and play amongst yourselves and just save whatever you need for when I am done cooking. And mom, if you could just maybe do what you can to help out without asking anything from me, and get as far as you can, or even, go and just sit down and relax and enjoy yourself and I'll finish up here. I even might find that even easier right now, just to be able to focus on this without being needed for anything else. That would be great. In a situation when you're out with friends at a restaurant and there's a lot going on and someone's trying to engage you in a really deep or personal conversation, being able to say something like, hey, I really want to talk to you about all this, but I'm finding the noise and the music and everything else coming on at the same time. I'm finding it hard to really focus on what you're saying and giving you the attention that you deserve for this important topic. Can we talk about this another time? Or being able to say, if there's a particular colleague that interrupts you often when you're working, being able to say something like, hey, I find it really difficult when I'm in the middle of something to be interrupted. I find it hard to regain my focus and to get back to what I was doing. And those interruptions, I find I can't be as productive when that happens. Could you send me an email? And then when I take a break, I could look at that and then come and talk to you, so that we can do it like that. Or can you save your questions until break time and then we can talk about it then? Or can you save your questions to have them kind of all at once and then we have a time that we are going to plan to meet to go over all of it? So just really learning what you need so that you're not getting so overstimulated and so overwhelmed so easily. If you notice this happening and you feel all those emotions coming up, you notice that panicky, that kind of fight or flight feeling, you want to run away, you want to say some choice words, you kind of feel like that tunnel vision, like you're frozen in place. So being able to pay attention to that, and if you can, taking yourself out of the overstimulating situation and putting yourself into a more low stimulation situation. So it can even just look like going to the bathroom, closing and locking the door, and just sitting for a few minutes, taking some deep breaths, sitting in a little bit more quiet. If it works for you, put some noise canceling headphones on. I know a lot of moms who actually wear noise dampening earphones or earplugs. Not ones that they're not trying to completely ignore everything, but ones that kind of take out the extra noise that's happening. Just the hum of the fridge, the ticking of the clock, the traffic noise out on the street, right? Because these are all stimulating things that we might not even be aware that are happening, but that are requiring attention from our brains, whether we're conscious of it or not. And so a lot of people find that really good to take out those extra bits of stimulation so they're not dealing with that on top of everything else. Having that time to recharge, having that time to just take a break, even if just for a few minutes, or even getting outside for a walk and just taking in nature, doing it with no noise, no music, nothing, or putting on some really gentle classical music that tends to be quite regulating for the nervous system. Paying attention to what you need when you are feeling overstimulated is going to start with you recognizing when you are being overstimulated. Go back through those signs that you are being overstimulated, especially when there's a lot going on and you start to feel those things, then knowing, oh, I'm being overstimulated right now. What do I need to deal with? What do I need to say? What boundaries do I need to put in? What limits do I need to respect within myself? What space do I need to take for myself right now? And respecting those things. If you need some extra help with processing big feelings when they're coming up, especially if you are a more highly sensitive person, then make sure you get my Sensitive Person's Guide to Handling Big Feelings. It is a power-packed training workshop on how to regulate and manage your emotions when you are feeling big feelings, especially if you are a big feeling person and feel big feelings often. Make sure you get that Sensitive Person's Guide to Handling Big Feelings. And let me know in the comment section below, did this connect some dots for you? Are you starting to see that, oh, I am someone that gets overstimulated? That's what's happening. That's why I find this a lot when I'm in situations like this. This is why I feel like I want to shut down or run away or yell, or I get more irritable, I get more stressed out. This makes so much sense. Let me know in the comment section below. Always good to have you here. And until next time, take good care of yourself. Take good care of those around you. Bye for now.